Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. We are back in my mother's living room corner because I'm down here for Christmas, and this is your ultimate Christmas survival guide for recovery. I put up a poll on my Patreon. Hello to my beautiful patrons for joining us and seeing this a day early. And even though this took out second place in the poll, I'm sure that my kind, beautiful, compassionate patrons won't mind that I did the Christmas survival guide instead, and we'll do their voted on topic next week, because I've had so many DMs on Instagram, so many emails, more than any other year in the 7 years that I've been advocating, from people who are really struggling with Christmas coming on. No surprise why. Having an eating disorder or being in recovery during COVID has been incredibly challenging this year. And particularly like here in New South Wales, we've just had this big cluster. There's a whole lot of people who are in lockdown in the northern beaches. So really wanted to prioritize maybe putting out some suggestions and just a little bit of a place for you to come back to feel a little bit connected and like somebody out there gets it, right? So yes, thank you to my patrons. Hello to my beautiful patrons. I will see you tomorrow for our Christmas Eve Patreon live stream, which is private. We're all getting together for the end of the year. If you haven't come and joined already, you can sign up for $5 a month to be able to join our weekly live streams, which last for an hour, are completely private and exclusive. I can be a little bit candid and open over there, more so than anywhere else on the internet. And you also get to see these videos early, vote on videos, and get the shout out at the end of every single video as well. It is important to note that we're all in different situations within our recoveries, particularly within COVID. So I'm not going to be able to make a video that necessarily applies to absolutely everyone, or every point is going to apply to you. But if you can get even one tiny thing out of this video, or like I said, find a bit of a safe space here and in the comments, that would be great. So my first suggestion is one that I've been saying on a loop with all of my clients over the last couple of weeks, which is please manage your expectations around Christmas. Please do not put too much pressure on yourself during this period. What I have noticed, particularly since I've been doing my coaching with clients over the last couple of years, is that Christmas seems to hold this, place in recovery. People put a lot of pressure on themselves for their recovery to be perfect, or for them to prove something to themselves or other people, or to not have any food anxiety, to just be able to enjoy themselves and not let any kind of recovery anxiety come into the day. That is not realistic. It's also not probably what you would expect for other people. That's maybe some of your perfectionism coming in. And I understand it. I know we want to be able to just enjoy Christmas and be present and be with our families. And this might not be that Christmas. That's okay. This Christmas might be an investment in future Christmases, where you are more capable of looking back and going, oh gosh, I'm so glad that I worked so hard on all those previous Christmases so that I could enjoy and be present in this one. That's certainly how I feel now. I was literally recounting to my mum today, and it almost made me burst into tears. I remember when I was living in London, I spent Christmas by myself because I was so unwell. My friend Mark, who you all know very well, he invited me to spend the day with him and his friends, and I didn't know what the food was going to be. I didn't know who would be there. I was too self-conscious about my eating habits and my body to go. So I spent the whole day by myself, just binging and purging and restricting. It was horrible. And the difference between my life then and now is because I spent a few Christmases working really hard and being uncomfortable and accepting that this just might not be the one where I'm recovered. But now that I am, I'm incredibly grateful to Mia for doing that work, and you will feel the same way as well. I don't know why I keep waving this around. I think because my gran obviously passed away this year, and she's there behind me in the photo frame. I found this letter that I wrote to her when I was like 4. If my patrons are watching this, do you want me to read this in the live tomorrow? I was like 4 when I wrote this. It's really cute. What a weird sidebar. Anyway, so that's my first suggestion: managing expectations, managing your levels of pressure that you're putting on yourself about what this is meant to mean. Christmas, on one hand, is like any other day in recovery in that you try your best, that you be as kind and compassionate with yourself as you can be, that you learn from what you can, even if it doesn't go totally smoothly the whole time. Just another opportunity to learn. It is not like any other day in that it's very food focused. You're probably surrounded by people who cause you anxiety. It is in the middle of COVID, which means even more anxiety. So if anything, it's a reason to be more gentle with yourself and flexible with your expectations, right? My next suggestion is to stay plugged into communities and spaces and with people who make you feel like that is a bit more of a connection to your recovery, your healthy self, and your recovery goals, right? Whether or not it is joining the What Mia Did Next forum, which is still to this day one of the things I'm proudest of in all my years of advocating. It is completely free. The link is in the description box below. It is moderated, and my moderators do a fabulous job. A huge shout out and thank you to them for another year of amazing work. Couldn't do it without you. Literally couldn't do it without you. So completely free, really safe, moderated. Even if you feel too self-conscious to join in, you will see people there sharing their experiences, showing you that you're not alone, and everyone kind of supporting each other. There's no prescriptive advice or anyone kind of, advising outside of scope. It is just a lovely place to realize you are not alone. Social media, another great way to stay connected. Maybe not interactive like a forum, but just a place to go and be like, okay, yes, there are other people in the world who have navigated this or who are navigating it. There's some really great resources being shared at this time of year within the recovery community. I will put a list of accounts that I would really recommend. I'm very particular about accounts that are responsible and not triggering and not, speaking outside of sort of turn as far as their professional qualifications, etc. So we'll leave a few of those below for you to follow. Again, it's just a reminder that you are absolutely not out on your own recovery island here. I know we're meant to feel more connected on Christmas, but sometimes it can do the absolute opposite and make us feel very disconnected. So getting plugged back into some of those communities could be really helpful. My next suggestion, make a flexible plan for your recovery, whether or not you might consult with your treatment team. Like with my clients, I have gone through some plans with them about maybe how to structure the day, but most importantly, making it a flexible plan. Things are going to pop up last minute. Someone will say, let's go around to Auntie Sharon's at 2:00, and no one kind of prepared you for it. So being able to go in with some intentions and a mindset around being as flexible as possible and being able to structure your food if you need to as much as possible, making a commitment. I will start the day with having breakfast within 30 minutes to an hour of waking up. I will still commit to eating every 2 to 3 hours, and to not, again, think that you've got to challenge absolutely everything. But if it would be helpful to you to maybe check in with, say, your mum or the person who might be hosting you for Christmas lunch, what kind of food are you guys planning to have? And what's going to be for dessert? As long as we're using that for healthy self purposes, not kind of disordered purposes to, start to make any plans around compensation or anything, as long as it's to make it fit within your recovery goals and to help you feel a bit more secure in your healthy self choices, that's absolutely fine and constructive. You've just got to be really clear and honest with yourself about why you might be doing that. Next suggestion is to find allies. Again, this kind of works into finding online communities like the forum, or maybe getting in contact with a friend who knows that you're in recovery, who can be somebody who you can text or kind of, say, can you do an emergency call in the next half an hour so that I have an excuse to get out of this room? If you need a bit of a breather and a break, make plans to connect with friends after kind of Christmas lunch or Christmas dinner or whatever. So you've kind of got that to look forward to. Somewhat giving yourself kind of that window to go, okay, I can manage this, and this is all a bit overwhelming because I know that I have that point in the future where I'm going to connect with that person and I'm going to be able to kind of talk about this and get it off my chest. So being a bit proactive with our recovery choices and mental health choices is always a good idea. Yes, be reactive and flexible, but try to put some things in place before the day even begins, like saying to a mate, do you mind if I call you after Christmas lunch and we just have a bit of a 20-minute, 30-minute chat just to make sure that I'm feeling okay and feeling grounded? That can be a good idea as well. I tell my clients, I'm not on email and phone on Christmas Day, obviously, but feel free to use my phone number or my email address as your place to vent if you need to. Just get it off your chest. When I'm coming back online that I'm going to see it and that we're going to be able to talk about it and unpack it. So that just helps you to realize, okay, this day is not going to last forever. This moment's not going to last forever. And there are people out there to support me and help me and sort of give me a little bit of a place to put some of these feelings. If you can find an ally in the room, that can be a really good thing too. Maybe you've got a cousin or a friend or a partner or a sister, somebody who might be able to duck away with you when you need to. Give yourself a little bit of time, get yourself reconnected again. have a little bit of space from what can be like a lot of stuff going on, a lot of action, a lot of questions, a lot of chat, a lot of, overwhelming interaction with people. Having an ally in the room can be really helpful as well. Just letting them know, might not necessarily happen, but just if you need to tap them on the shoulder, they know exactly what it's about. Again, proactive. Then you just have to tap them on the shoulder. You don't need to give them a whole 2-hour explanation of like, I tapped you on the shoulder because I need to get out of this room because I feel so overwhelmed and I just want to, right? Tap on the shoulder, bit of a wink. Let's get out of here for 5 minutes. Good plan. The biggest concern that I have definitely heard from clients in the last couple of weeks is comments from distant relatives, people we probably haven't seen for a while. People feel really entitled to comment on our bodies and our food on a very food-focused day of the year. Great combo. And there's a few ways that I think that we can manage this, and it's completely understandable. So packaging this chunk of suggestions into one category. So obviously we can't control other people's behavior. If we can be proactive and preemptive in some ways, that's great. Maybe if we can tell mum or dad or sister or partner to be our sort of spokesperson, if we feel comfortable to, if we have that kind of person who has that role in our life, who knows about our recovery, who we really trust, who can kind of give other people a heads up about what is or isn't helpful. Now, you might be at a point in recovery where you kind of need to expose yourself to these kinds of comments. I don't believe in recovering into a bubble and staying there. We are going to encounter people making comments about our bodies, about food, about diet, all our lives. And at some point, you've got to build up a resilience and a bit of an armor to cope with that and respond to it. And most importantly, manage how you respond to it in your own head. But you may be at a really, really sensitive part of your recovery where that's particularly difficult. So if we can mitigate and reduce comments coming from other people that could be unhelpful or triggering, and we have somebody who can maybe put that out there and give people a bit of guidance and advice about just don't talk about body, just don't talk about food, don't really ask about recovery. It's all going fine. She's doing really well. He's doing really well. They're doing really well. The best thing we can do is to kind of back off and leave those subjects off the table. Now, again, not everyone's going to have that option, or not everyone is going to even adhere to or kind of respect that boundary or remember that boundary. I don't think that people really have terrible intentions majority of the time, but people are going to make mistakes. No one is going to be perfect in this recovery process. So I think that where we can express to people who make inappropriate or unwelcome comments, if you feel you can express your boundary, try to do it in a way which, takes the blame off everyone and just says, you know what, I'm doing really well in my recovery. And I know that it's hard to navigate how to interact with me about that topic, but, I'm just trying not to invite comments about my body or food, etc. But totally understandable that this is really, really tricky to navigate. Just that's what's most helpful for me at the moment. In fact, I tell my clients, blame me. Tell them I told you to say that and that I've asked that people not make those comments. So yeah, you can always throw me under the bus if you want to do that, even from this video. Here, this is Mia. She's on the internet. You've never met her. She would like you to do these things. Thank you. So hi, Uncle Jerry, please stop talking about body, food, and all those unhelpful things. Enjoy your Christmas pudding. If you feel like you can't have that conversation, you can't advocate for yourself or set those boundaries, or worse than that, that it's just going to invite more questions that you don't want to answer or, more invalidating comments, steer clear. Don't do it. It's not worth your time or your energy. Only do that when it feels empowering or like you're going to get a decent response and an actual outcome. So in those moments, give yourself permission to change the subject, to walk away. Again, circling back to that ally in the room, if you can kind of have a signal like, get me out of here, that can be where that comes in really handy as well. So give yourself permission to walk away, to change the subject. And then there might even be situations where neither option A or B works, right? Or they are only doing part of the job because the comments or the interactions bring up thoughts in your own head, disordered thoughts, eating disorder stuff. So the third option is the non-negotiable one, and the one that you must always employ, which is you must challenge anything that comes up in your head as a result of those interactions. Option 1 and 2, A or B, totally forgot what I said, are optional depending on whether or not they're going to be helpful. Option C or 3 is always helpful, which is you must challenge the thoughts, the notions, the eating disorder stuff that brings up internally, because that is where the real impact and change is made. If you are having a really particularly difficult time this Christmas, which I know that people are, I've had a number of people get in touch with me who are in a pretty dire headspace, please seek out the help from a hotline, a text line, if need be, an emergency department. I'm going to leave a link below with crisis lines all over the world, which will give you a bit more detail about when they're open. That is incredibly serious. If you find yourself in a headspace where you're in danger, please seek out help from resources that are equipped to sort of respond to you immediately. Your safety is paramount and the most important thing. So guys, that is it for my ultimate Christmas survival guide. I hope that you could get something out of that. More than anything, please be gentle with yourselves. Enjoy Christmas as much as you can, but manage those expectations. This has been an extraordinarily tough year, and it's not just magically going to be that much better because it's Christmas Day, right? So manage those expectations, be kind to yourselves. Remember that Christmas lunch won't last forever. Aunt Karen's comments about your thighs won't last forever. She'll have to go home at some stage. And yeah, please come back to these communities and these resources to help yourself feel a bit supported and a bit safe. And I will look forward to seeing you next week in another video. Can't wait for 2021, guys. Let's do it. Anyway, much love. Take care. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. And I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.